Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Business Incorporated, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu. On the program today, National Competitiveness Council of Nigeria launches a sub-national index, ranks Lagos State top among the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Angola leaves benchmark lending rate unchanged at 16%. And Norwegian fertilizer maker Yara set to build $2 billion gas-fired plant in Mozambique. Let's get started, and beginning here in Nigeria, as a sub-national index launched today by the National Competitiveness Council of Nigeria has ranked Lagos State top among the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory in human capital, infrastructure, economy and institutions development. The index ranks Delta and Rivers State after Lagos, while Borno and Gombe states ranked 36th and 37th. Faring best in the areas of infrastructure and economy is the Federal Capital Territory, as Borno and Zamfara lost in human capital. As the first of its kind in Nigeria, the index provides a platform to elevate national conversation on embracing economic diversification. And to the markets now, both the Nigerian stock market and the Johannesburg Stock Exchange were in the red at intraday, down 0.07% and 0.32% each. Egypt was the best performer, up 0.23%, while Kenya closed up 1.22% on Wednesday. In the Middle East, stock markets remained subdued at intraday, although Dubai's Ema Properties edged up after its local property development arm set an indicative price range for its initial public offer of shares. Proceeds of the IPO and possibly other funds are expected to be paid to Ema Properties shareholders as a special dividend by the end of January. The Dubai Stock Index was down 0.34%, but Ema Properties gained 0.2% in modest volume. Dubai's most active stock, Shua Capital, jumped 5.6%. Saudi Arabia's index was flat after an hour of trade as petrochemical producer Chamanol dropped 3.4% after it reported a third-quarter net loss of 9.9 million reals at intraday. The index was trading low at 0.07%. Qatar's index edged down 0.31% in very thin trade. Qatar National Bank, the biggest lender, was the most active stock and added 0.3%. Abu Dhabi was down 0.45%. And in Europe, stocks hovered around the flat line in early trade as investors reacted to a slew of earnings news and waited for the latest rate decisions from the Bank of England. Let's cross over now to Frankfurt for details from Ulrich Batz. Hello, Ulrich. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi.
Now, the Bank of England is about now announcing its rate decisions. How significant is this for the UK, and what's the outlook from Europe on it?
Yeah, the Bank of England raised the leading interest rate by a quarter percentage point to 0.5% from the 300-year low in the history of the Bank of England to half a percentage point, and that was the first hike in a decade. It had lowered it to that record level because of the economy sputtering in the wake of the financial crisis. And now it's raising the rate in the wake of a new crisis, if you will, Brexit, that is befalling Great Britain. And it's a totally different environment than the rate hike situation in the United States, where the Fed is seen as raising rates in December. Britain is suffering from the fallout of the Brexit decision, of uncertainty in business in the UK, and uncertainty in business outside of the UK in the prospects of Great Britain. Inflation is up because the pound is down, the currency. The economy is weak because of rising inflation, because of uncertainty. It was a very difficult decision probably for the Bank of England governors to make, to raise rates into a weak economy, but they see this probably as the only way to prop up the pound and to get down inflation.
Well, that decision by the Bank of England was actually expected, so it's not a surprise. Well, the world's #1 central bank, that's the U.S. Fed, yesterday kept rates unchanged, while a new headsman, Jerome Powell, looks set to take over Janet Yellen. What are the talks around the marketplace around these key developments?
Yeah, I think that Jerome Powell is seen as the lead man, and any other name would be a huge surprise now to people in the market. And I think people around here are welcoming this decision. I think they would have liked to see Janet Yellen continue more because they think she did a very good job, capable central banker, excellent economist. But they also place great trust, I think, in Jerome Powell. He's been at Janet Yellen's side now these past 5 years, already sitting on the Board of Governors. And it's said that he has immersed himself in monetary policy. He's a lawyer by training, immersed himself in monetary policy in order to be able to weigh in on decisions and to really qualify him there in that position. And it's said that he's a very good moderator, that he's a pragmatist, a centrist, and he'll need that quality as the chair to moderate future discussions on the governing board and in the Federal Open Market Committee on monetary policy and on other issues such as banking regulation perhaps, because there are other vacant seats in the Fed board. Donald Trump will fill these, and then it could be a very different Fed in a couple of months than we're seeing now. It will be important to have someone who's seen as a good people person.
Well, we'll wait to hear that announcement by Donald Trump later today. Well, a number of quarterly earnings are on the screens today. Let's chat to a few in the technology space, the U.S. Apple and China's Alibaba Group.
Yes, Apple is coming out with its quarterly results after the close of U.S. trading today, and people will be eagerly awaiting that. It always affects the market, not just the Apple share itself, but the mood in the general market. But I think today, this week, people will be looking almost as closely or perhaps even closer at the debut of the new Apple iPhone, the 10, which will debut in stores tomorrow, and the stores will be opening earlier than usual in order to meet the probably the onstorm as Apple expects it, and that will be important for that company. Alibaba, very interesting development, huge growth in revenues. I have to look at my paper for that. For that big number, it's 61% increase in revenues. And the net income also shot up by more than 50%, the number of customers up by over 20%. So this internet retailer in China, stormingly growing, and good news for that company.
Right, we'll wait to see what iPhone 10 looks like tomorrow. All right, enjoy the rest of the day, Ulrich.